Steven Spielberg read the script, and he stopped production. Not because of the nudity, not because of the drugs, because of one joke. Cooper mistaking the Anne Frank house for a brothel. Spielberg made one call. The scene was gone by morning. What replaced it became one of the most quoted scenes in the entire movie. Nobody found out why Spielberg cared this much, not for years. Fact 16. Every country in this movie is the same city. London, Paris, Amsterdam, Rome, Bratislava. The entire European trip was filmed almost entirely in Prague. Green screens and digital tricks did the rest. Look closely at the Vatican scene. That balcony isn't in Rome. It's the Czech National Museum, which is why the Colosseum shows up in the background of a shot that's supposed to be in Vatican City. Big Ben was added digitally to a street that was never in London. The whole continent, 4 blocks wide. Fact 15. Before EuroTrip existed, it was a pitch for an American Pie sequel. Schaefer, Berg, and Mandel came to the studio with a backpacking storyline, hoping to bolt it onto a franchise that already had an audience. The studio said no. So they kept the story, stripped away the American Pie name, and built something entirely their own.
We will sail away together.
Oh my God.
A spec script called Ugly Americans, written on the side while they were finishing Cat in the Hat. DreamWorks bought it in 2002, on one condition: shooting had to start the following year. Fact 14. 3 writers, 1 directing credit. The Directors Guild doesn't allow 3 names on one film, so Jeff Schaefer, Alec Berg, and David Mandel needed a decision. They didn't negotiate. They didn't flip a coin. A production assistant wrote all 3 names on slips of paper, dropped them in a hat, and pulled one out. Schaefer's name came out. His face went on the poster. The other 2 wrote every joke in the movie. Nobody outside the room ever knew. Fact 13. Ugly Americans stayed the title almost until release. Then DreamWorks changed it to EuroTrip. The reason had nothing to do with the story. It had everything to do with Road Trip, DreamWorks' 2000 hit comedy. Same studio, similar name, similar audience, they hoped. Todd Phillips, who directed Road Trip, wasn't thrilled. He said publicly that his movie's success was being used to sell someone else's film. The 2 movies share no characters, no plot.
So I tell the swamp donkey to sack it before I give her a tonk in a tradesman.
No connection at all, just a marketing team's instinct that the word trip sells tickets. Fact 12. The plan was simple: cast real actors from each country the group visits. It didn't work. Several auditions fell apart. Some actors read their parts and refused. The jokes hit too close for comfort. So the filmmakers turned to American comedians instead. And one performance changed the entire marketing campaign. Fred Armisen, as the unsettlingly friendly stranger on the overnight train. His whispering, oversharing weirdo became the face of the film's trailers. The role built to sell foreign authenticity ended up going to a guy from Chicago. Fact 11. The kegs at the graduation party weren't props. They were full, real beer, flowing for take after take, at a party scene built entirely around teenagers cutting loose before Europe. Nobody rationed it. Nobody swapped it for something safer between setups.
You brought a guidebook to a party?
Do you guys want to see my itinerary?
Do you want to see my balls?
By the time the cameras stopped rolling, the loose, chaotic energy on screen wasn't just written into the script. Fact 10. Watch Cooper get thrown behind Scotty after the hot tub scene. That stumble isn't a performance. According to the directors, Jacob Pitts was actually drunk when they shot it, a side effect of a party scene where the alcohol was real. They kept the take. It made the cut. The most chaotic-looking moment of the opening act is also the most honest one. Fact 9. The nude beach scene almost wasn't a nude beach scene. The original plan had extras holding surfboards and beach balls, Austin Powers style, hiding just enough to keep it PG-rated funny. Once the cameras rolled, the directors realized the props were killing the joke. David Mandel made the call: lose the coverage entirely. The extras didn't seem to mind. Michelle Trachtenberg did.
Holy cow! Oh, this isn't where I park my car.
She later said the lack of shyness between takes made craft services one of the most uncomfortable places on set. Fact 8. Midpoint. Remember the joke that got cut? Here's why it really happened. Spielberg wasn't just a studio executive standing over this movie. He's the founder of the Shoah Foundation, an organization built to preserve Holocaust survivor testimony. A joke that turned the Anne Frank house into a brothel punchline wasn't a note. It was personal. The pushback was serious enough that the directors considered taking the entire project to another studio. They didn't. The scene died instead, and out of that fight came the sequence that replaced it: a dominatrix, a sex club, and Lucy Lawless in a costume nobody forgot. Fact 7. Lucy Lawless played Madame Vandersex with a European accent so committed, most viewers never questioned it. Then, the blooper reel happened. The accent disappears completely, replaced by Lawless's real voice, and a very different energy than the leather-clad dominatrix on screen. The costume didn't go into storage after the shoot. It went to auction in 2004, sold for charity. Lawless later joked about the gap between her on-screen reputation and her actual life. Suburban, ordinary, nothing like Xena or Madame Vandersex. Fact 6. There's a version of this movie you never saw. A deleted subplot followed a French waiter named Jean-Luc chasing the group across Europe because they skipped out on a dinner bill. It wasn't just a chase gag. It was supposed to end Jamie's story, not with the guidebook success everyone remembers, but with him getting dumped, alone, a broken-hearted loner instead of a Frommers-approved hero. The footage still exists, buried in deleted scenes. A darker, sadder EuroTrip that almost made the final cut. Fact 5. Before EuroTrip reached theaters, it had to survive a test screening. The directors weren't taking chances with the results. They filled the room with people they knew, friends, Harvard Lampoon writers, anyone young enough and unconnected enough to count as real feedback. Then they pushed it further. Some men were told to mark themselves as women on the response cards.
Beautiful. We made it to Berlin.
Just to boost the numbers in that demographic. The score came back high enough. The movie got its green light. Fact 4. None of it was enough. EuroTrip opened in theaters on February 20, 2004, across 2,512 screens, and pulled in just $6.7 million on opening weekend. By the end of its run, it had made $22.6 million worldwide, against a $25 million budget. Critics weren't any kinder. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 46%. Metacritic scored it 45 out of 100. The New York Times dismissed it as shallow and formulaic. By every studio metric, it was a failure. The kind that ends careers, not launches them. 20 years later, it's the movie people quote at parties they weren't even at. Fact 3. Matt Damon didn't audition for EuroTrip. He got a phone call. Jeff Schaffer, Alec Berg, and David Mandel were his friends from Harvard. Damon happened to be shooting The Brothers Grimm in Prague, the exact city where EuroTrip was filming, at the exact same time. He was already wearing a wig for that role. When his friends asked him to play a bald punk singer, he told them to just shave his head. No fee, no agent negotiation, just a favor between people who knew each other before any of it mattered. Fact 2. Scotty Doesn't Know wasn't written for radio. It was written for revenge. The song came from a real story. A high school friend of the band Lustra, whose actual middle name was Scotty, and whose girlfriend had been cheating on him the entire time he didn't know. The band wrote it from the point of view of the guy having the affair. Matt Damon lip-synced it on screen. Somebody else's heartbreak became the catchiest scene in the movie. Fact 1. By 2006, EuroTrip was old news. A flop. $22.6 million against a $25 million budget. Forgotten. Then a song from the movie started climbing the charts. Not because a label pushed it, because people kept downloading it, one by one, 2 years after the film died. Scotty Doesn't Know hit the Billboard Hot 100, an unsigned band writing a joke song from a movie nobody watched in theaters.
She's on her knees and Scotty doesn't know.
Matt Damon did the cameo for free, as a favor to college friends. He shaved his head for a scene that ran under 2 minutes. He kept the t-shirt. Hollywood almost made a different movie, twice. This is the one that survived.